a very low bar, and they get over it easily on the video alone. And remember, please stop spreading misinformation, or at least stop believing it. If you're spreading it, I probably can't have any effect on you. The police had this video from day one. They wrote about it in their initial reports on this. It is not new to them. I want to show it to you again, okay? Now, before I even show it to you, the police say, okay, this isn't me saying it, it's not the Orbury, the victim's family saying it. There were 2 confrontations between Arbery and these guys in the car with the shotgun and the pistol and the guy following them before what you're about to see. So, very important, factor it in. Guy's jogging down the street. Twice he is confronted by these guys. Now you're going to pick up at how he is acting and what happens, okay? Let's watch. Jogging? Open the mic. You see him jogging? Get the bottom third off. You see him jogging? Now they're trying to get him again. The camera works not great, but we only have what we have. Now he runs around the truck that has already come to him twice. There's a man with a long gun. They start a fight. The father and the son say he attacked them. Now, let's look at what we know from this, okay? What did you see in Ahmaud in the first scene? What was he doing? He was running at a steady gait down the middle of the street, okay? You're going to see it here. This guy's pulling up. This guy's going to become of interest, by the way. Why'd you take this video? What was your role in this? See? You see him? There's Ahmaud. Now, let me ask you something, okay? Just think. Just common sense, okay? You don't have to have 20 years of investigating these cases like me. You don't have to have a legal background. Just common sense. You are fleeing the scene of a crime. Men have approached you. 2 white men who are black, okay? They have weapons. They've approached you twice. And then you are still jogging down the middle of the street? Is that what somebody does when they're fleeing the scene of a crime? Jog down the middle of the street? No, it is not what you do. It is what you do when you are intent on jogging and are probably having some kind of emotional state of shock from the fact that these white guys keep coming up to you. But he kept jogging because that's what he was doing. Reasonableness dictates, if he was on the run, what do you do if a guy pulls up in a car and starts asking you about what you're trying to escape from? Keep jogging in a straight line down the middle of the street? No. You brake left, right. You try to get away. You be evasive. That's what people do. Especially when they have reason to do it. Not here. Remember, police had this video. Police know from the investigating of talking to the guys that they finally arrested 70-something days later, that they came at the guy twice before this. He never ran away. He never dodged for some backyard. He never tried to escape. Not until the guy came out with a long gun in his face. And the father and son say he attacked us. What do you do when guys that intent on talking to you jump out of a truck with a long gun in your face, let alone injecting the race into this? Martin Savage has been on this story. His reporting took us deep into how this video came out and really exposed something, Martin, that can't be underestimated, which is the police had the video. There's all of this talk online in defense of the process here that, well, it's new information to all of us. Not to them. You were at the demonstrations today. Tell us about the state of play, Martin. And again, thank you for giving us the information that gave us such insight.
Absolutely. The demonstrations today were the largest that we have seen when it comes to support of Ahmaud Arbery and his family. There were hundreds of people that gathered in front of the Glenn County Courthouse. This demonstration had been planned even before the arrest had taken place. It went forward even after the arrest had been made. And the crowd was still frustrated. As one of the speakers said, this is not a celebration. This is just step one on what has been a very long road of trying to even start the process of justice. Many people are very upset with the previous DAs. They're asking that they be resigned, fired, or ejected from office. And they believe that what has happened here has been exemplified by the GBI, the state level of investigation, which comes up in less than 2 days with the decision that, yes, you must make arrests, whereas the local investigators, that's the Glenn County Police Department, for over 2 months couldn't decide whether they should do anything. So there's still a great deal of anger and frustration.
Well, that's what happens when an innocent man is shot dead on the street and nothing happens for 2 months. I know you understand that, Martin. You've been all over this country bringing truth to light in situations like this. The GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So the local authorities, somewhat taken out of the mix here, replaced by state investigative authorities. They said today that the video is a very important piece of evidence. We don't need them for that. What else did they say?
Well, they pointed out that the investigation had been done almost completely by local authorities. They only interviewed a few more people in the neighborhood. What they really did was they went through all the documents. They went through all the evidence. They went through all the material that local law enforcement had, including the video, which, by the way, the head of the GBI, who I asked directly, I said, when did local authorities have it? He said the day of the incident, they had that video. And so what's so amazing that you learn is that the local law enforcement came up with a completely different take on that evidence than what the GBI officers, by the end of their first day, knew that they had to go to a judge and get an arrest warrant for the father and son.
Now, another key aspect of this is going to be the basis of the defendant's attention here, which they say a series of burglaries for which this man fit the description. What can you tell us about burglaries in the area, knowledge of the same, and a description of potential assailant?
Well, Gregory McMichael, who is, of course, a former law enforcement, the first thing he begins telling the officers when they arrive on scene after this horrific shooting is that he implies they were in hot pursuit of a suspect because there had been a series of break-ins in the neighborhood. And this is a perception that even some callers to 911 had said. So we went and started looking into the police records to find the reports about all those break-ins. You don't find them. There is one reported theft. It occurred on New Year's Day, and it actually was a gun that was taken out of an unlocked pickup truck. And that pickup truck, by the way, belonged to the McMichaels. So when you hear this depiction that there was this sense that this was a neighborhood victimized by crime time and time again, it simply isn't verified by police records or reports.
And Arbery had no weapon on him, right?
No, he did not. No.
Martin, thank you very much. Now, one other question. Any idea yet of, I know the charges. Georgia's one of 4 states without hate crime laws, and that anything like that is taken into consideration only in sentencing. They were struck down in 2004 there, I think, by the Supreme Court as being unconstitutionally vague. There have been efforts to pass them since, hasn't happened. What does that mean in terms of how this case is being viewed by the state?
Well, I mean, many people, I think, outside of the state of Georgia, when they might have heard the GBI being questioned about this whole hate crime thing, and the director of the GBI said, we don't have a hate crime in the state of Georgia. Well, if you're of the other states that do, you were probably flabbergasted. It's Georgia, it's Arkansas, it's South Carolina, and one other state that does not have Wyoming. So you've already recounted the history here, and many have asked, well, why is it that the Georgia legislature just can't seem to pass it again? There's been some speculation that because Georgia is a conservative state, that there are some who just simply do not want to give protections to the LGBTQ community. I don't know how truthful that really rings out, because one of the last attempts to try to get a hate crime back on the books in Georgia was actually started by a Republican. So it's clear we don't have such a law, and what it would have done, or would do in this case, is tag on extra years to the sentence once a conviction was derived.
Martin, I appreciate very much, and again, thank you for opening the aperture of our understanding on this. This is one of those stories that is going to be completely infected by false narratives to justify all kinds of agendas. So thank you for making the record so clear, so much, so early. Thank you very much.